Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Little.
Welcome, everyone, to
The Rational League. The Rational League.
It's my intro. You've died. I understand now why you get angry at me. I can feel why. I was in the swing of things then.
You literally stuttered after the first sentence.
Yes, because I was about to make a joke.
You literally
I was about to make a joke. Comedic timing's important here. You don't just dive in.
All right. Here you go.
Welcome, everyone, to what is probably your second favourite show on a Friday, The Rational League. We are a couple of man down today. So, yeah, we are. Are we not? Where's Nobbins?
Why is the second favourite show on Friday?
I don't know. Some people might have a show.
Why did you say that? It's kind of weird.
I don't want to judge. We're not getting too big for our boots. We're not getting too big for our boots here, but we're humble. We're humble here on the Rational League. We're humble here on the Rational League. So, some people might want to go watch on the show.
I'm the second fastest guy.
Yeah, but we're still good.
Bet on me. I'm the second fastest guy.
We're still good. We're still high up in the rankings. But I don't want to judge on people. For some people, it might be the fate. In which case, I'm sorry that you have to watch me this much. But there's plenty to talk about today. We've got United. We've got Saliba and Rudiger, because apparently he said something that I don't know, Mo knows, but Rudiger said something about Saliba and now he's going Real Madrid and Arsenal are finished. City have no midfield, or they do have a midfield, again, I don't know. Salah contract, will he sign, will he not? Again, I don't know. And Nkunku deserves a start. That I do know he probably should do. But there's plenty to talk about here. You've got Mo in the middle, who has graciously handed over. I'm now in the middle, so he's ruined my intro. I'm now in the middle, your gracious guest host for today. You've got Mo on the left, who did Inter win this week in the Champions League?
Yes.
Oh, it's no fun then. We've got Dan, who won in the UCL yesterday as well. Big win in the UCL. We've got Rory, whose team also won in the Champions League. We've got Nobbins, whose team also won in the Champions League. And you've got me, who also won in the Champions League. So, a lot of European success on the panel today. I mean, I don't know. I know where we should start. We should start with the one English team that didn't win in Europe yesterday, despite being 2-0 up, Manchester United. I mean, people are looking at that result in a negative way, aren't they? Let's be serious. If we compare that to Arsenal last season at the same stadium, Ten Hag scored more goals and Ten Hag got a better result. And people are big on Arteta at the minute. Look at what he's doing at Arsenal when they gave him time. Look at how far Ten Hag's taken this United team. He's already achieving these type of results. And when you look at the in-game management, Harry Maguire's substitution, what a masterclass. What a masterclass. And people are looking at that result negatively. I mean, some people are saying that he won't make it past the international break. I'm personally seeing that as a new contract. Arteta got a new deal. Where's Ten Hag's? Porto away's a tough place to go. And he left with a point. And he got Rashford scoring. And he got Højlund scoring. It's not his fault. He's got a centre-back who's 5'3" with an attitude who can't win any aerial duels. Even though we did buy him. But again, that's not really his fault. There's only so much Eric can do. I don't see how we are pushing for him to vacate his post at Manchester United. But does anyone on the panel have any reason to disagree with that sound analysis that isn't biased?
I heard something on the Guardian podcast before anyone speaks. And I know that a lot of Man United fans don't want to hear this, but I want to hear the panel's opinion. Jonathan Wilson, I don't know if you guys know who's that, is the chief writer of the Guardian. He does the podcast with Max Rushden and all these guys, the weekly show with them. And he said something that is, I think I was looking for that particular statement for a while now for Man United. He said, if you remove from your head that this team is wearing red and play at Old Trafford, you will just accept that this is just a mid-table, mediocre team, and you'd look at them completely different. The manager, the players, the way they play, everything around that club, I think you will accept that they have good results. That them sit, like sometimes winning some games is good. Does anybody agree with that statement? Like, we look at Man United because they play at Old Trafford, because they wear red, as they must. They have to. They should. Or these players should do. Have ever anybody thought about that? Is that statement?
You can't abandon all context, though, can you? Like, you've got to take into account, for example, how much money's been spent on the squad, just in terms of transfer fees, how much money's been spent on the squad in respect of wages, the expectation around it, rightly or wrongly, and then the conclusion. So that statement works if you want to forego all context, but we live in a world where context does exist, so I don't know if I can agree with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's worse than a mid-table. At least with a mid-table club, you you've probably got mid-table players on mid-table wages, and so you can understand why they're mid-table. I think that with United, it's even worse because they sign players from top clubs on top money, and then those players get worse, and they are still performing like a mid-table team. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, but I do think give Ten Hag a new contract. I think if you give him a new contract, that'd be a good confidence boost for him. And like he said, he said himself, it's a process. He's got to 2 finals, won 2 trophies. Give him more. Give him more control, if anything. You've restricted him for too long. Unleash Ten Hag.
Let him buy more ex-Ajax players. That's the problem. He hasn't bought enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So
isn't he saved yesterday? Like, people look at yesterday, it's like, yeah, you let 2 goals lead, but hey, he came back at the end. 3-3. I believe the guy's deluded, just my opinion. I believe, like, by the way, genuinely, for everyone in the chat, if you haven't watched the actual official post-match interview, that the 3 minutes that he did, right, with TV, you'll understand exactly how can someone be literally deluded. Like,
he doesn't understand the English press. He thinks the press want to be his friend. He thinks the press are going to report honestly and with integrity on him and not take the piss out of whenever he says, I won trophies, so I'm a good manager. The English press don't do that. And he goes into all the... Like, when he said he took Rashford out for rotation after 45 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
That was insane, by the way. That is one
It
of the
was,
most
by the
insane
way,
things.
it was 2-2. It's not like
Yeah.
he was winning 3-0, which is what I don't understand. And my problem with this statement is that he thought it's okay to say that, because when the interviewer said rotation, but you still had a game, couldn't he play more minutes? He's like, no, we need him for the game on the weekend. Villa had one more day of rest. What are you talking about? What is this?
The issue with that, I guarantee that will have been something probably the analysts told him he needed to do. I guarantee before the game, analysts looked at how much Rashford's played, what he's doing in training, and told him Rashford can only play 45 minutes. And Ten Hag's just agreed with it instead of looking at any of the context of the game and being like, Rashford, who has massively struggled for form and confidence, is having a really good game, bringing back his form and confidence, and we're at 2-2, and he's been the best player on the pitch for us. Screw what the doctors said to an extent. I'll give him another 20 minutes. But he didn't do it. So that's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen tactically.
Okay, so Nobbins, before I come to Dan, you literally put out context, right? When I said my statement. So I want to ask you then, if another manager goes to Man United, I'm going to give you examples. I'm not going to give you examples of the extremes. They're very, very good managers, the Hansi Flicks. A Maresca or an Arteta, the beginning, or someone who, or Iraola at Bournemouth, or Ange Postecoglou, who instantly put a start, or an Arne Slot. Imagine if Arne Slot goes to Man United. Do you think they can turn it around? Do you think
they're not taking my manager?
Do you think
define turnaround for me?
Similar to Chelsea? Do you believe Chelsea have improved 2-3 steps over last season?
So far, it seems that way. Yes.
Right. Do you believe Man United can do the same with a manager like a Maresca or a Slot or something like that?
With the exact current crop of players?
Yes, because that is your context. They spend money, the wages, and all the stuff.
They would definitely do better, 100%, because Ten Hag is literally setting these guys up to fail. Whether they would be able to, immediately go in for top 4, that's another question, because we haven't seen this squad be competent in, I don't even know how long. So that's an impossible question to answer. But in terms of would you at least get some improvement? Then yeah, I've got on record saying that I think Ten Hag's one of the most incompetent tacticians in the Premier League. I think that nearly every single one is better than him. I think he's maybe the 17th worst manager in the league. So by that definition, yeah, there would be some improvement. Would it be to the level of going from, I don't know where they are on the table. I don't even know where they finished last season. Whatever it was last season.
8th.
Oh my God, I was going to say 6th. It's even worse than I thought. Right, so does that mean they're going to go from 8th to 4th? Maybe not. Maybe they will need to, because even though I do think the players are, in relative terms, they are, what was it? They're less than the sum of their parts. Is that the phrase I'm after? I don't think that there is, I do think there is a dishevelled squad in there in respect of the squad building. I don't think it's been built very well. So I don't think it's as simple as new manager, immediate improvement, and it's all fine and dandy. But you have a combination. You have a new manager who knows what he's doing, and also knows what he's doing in respect of squad building as well. So that would be my summation on that.
David, you said Mo is a liar. So can you put some context into it? Like, can you just at least you come here on the channel and saying I'm a liar? Reason. Okay, without explanation, David. But I appreciate it, guys. We have about 350 people here. We're just starting, so hit that like button, people. Early enough, get the likes up to 300, guys. Hit that like button. Turn on the notification bell to know when we go live. For Man United, I really want them to get a new manager, right? Just to see how these players play. That's my take on this. I really want to.
I don't.
It would be interesting to see what a competent manager would do. Definitely.
Yes.
Interesting.
That is
it might be interesting for a neutral. I have enjoyed nothing more than Ten Hag these last 2 years, though. I don't care that they won an FA Cup. That FA Cup was the best thing that could have happened because it deluded them into keeping them longer. Every I'm sure, Mo, you had the same feeling. Mind you, Inter weren't necessarily doing it as well at the time. But when your team's doing well and your biggest rival is a car crash, there's nothing funnier than it.
But nothing like this. Okay, what is happening to Man United has not even happened to Arsenal in their darkest days. What are we seeing at Man United? Okay, let me just give you my point. Man United fans, so again, they were like, oh, we have seen this is the worst half we have seen against Spurs the first half. No, you have had a 90 minutes against
It's the
Crystal
worst
Palace that
half
looked
you've seen
exactly the
so
same.
far.
So far.
No, but that is not even true. You conceded 6 against Liverpool in one half.
Mm-hmm.
One half. You played against Crystal Palace 90 minutes. They were one of the worst brands of football I've seen in my life. You played at home against Bournemouth and you looked atrocious. You couldn't 3 against Coventry. You almost lost against Newport. This is not the worst, right? So that is my point. Like this, what is happening to Man United now? It didn't happen to any of the top clubs.
I mean, Arsenal were 15th in December at one point.
Arsenal lost 3 games in a row in the beginning, but not in this manner. Arsenal doesn't lose 3-0 at their ground and it goes by. Man United lost 5 at Old Trafford to Liverpool, or 4 at Old Trafford to Liverpool, and it went and it was okay. Like,
No.
Adi, it went by.
That wasn't under Ten Hag.
Yeah, before that. But my point, the club has went down a route that is, you can go back in the last 4 or 5 years, and it was like, there are some results that by themselves, each one of them requires an earthquake at the club. And they just went, and okay. The manager goes on a press conference and says, tomorrow is a new day. We're gonna build. We need to move on. We need to not think about this. I don't believe any top club has been there. I can't remember. When Chelsea were 12th under Graham Potter, they used to have 60% possession or 50% and still lose 1-0, 2-1. Couple of mistakes, at the back, and then they lose. But not like this. Erik ten Hag said in the press conference, from what I understood from him, is the last thing about Man United. If you go and watch, do you guys know what he said? He said we had possession, we played well, we didn't defend well. We might need to go back to the way of defending compact and be resolute in defense. Do you know what he means? Forget expensive brand of football. I am gonna defend and try to win the games like I did 2 seasons ago. That's what he means.
They've ever defended compactly under Ten Hag.
Yeah, but the problem with that is
they did. Away from home,
they
they used to concede position and play in counter-attack.
Oh, I see what you mean.
At home, they used to dominate position. At home. If you go look at the stats, only away from home, they used to be that we're going to defend deeper a little bit and rely on Marcus Rashford in a counter-attack or something. Because
the problem
apparently
is,
they can't defend in spaces yesterday.
He doesn't have the quality of team that he did that first year. And it sounds stupid that they spent 600 million quid and arguably gotten worse in terms of quality. But I'd argue they have. That centre-back partnership in the first year of Varane was better than De Ligt is. De Ligt is wank. Lisandro Martinez, when he first joined before his injuries, was better than the Lisandro Martinez we're seeing now. David De Gea for that 1 year, yes, he couldn't pass a football, but he was a better goalkeeper than Andre Onana. Dalot has improved as a footballer. Mazraoui is better than Wan-Bissaka. They have, in fullback areas, improved. In the central areas, gotten worse. Ugarte is worse than what Casemiro was when he first joined. Rashford is worse. Fernandes is worse. So he's going to try and play a successful style of football that worked 2 years ago with a team that has overall, bar fullbacks, gotten worse. That's not a recipe for success. That's not going to lead to anything.
But don't worry, because there's another overlap interview with another treble-winning United player too.
Oh yeah, I wonder if they're going to talk about the culture at Fergie's time at United, or what it was like in the dressing room in 1999.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
sort of
Who
like give.
cares? Who
Uh,
cares?
This is Manchester United.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the point that we made last week,
Yeah.
where there are some United fans who are still living in the past, and I think that these things don't help because they go, "Oh yeah, remember how good we were," and then they just can't move on from that.
If you're getting reminded every week about what you used to be, you get the ideas in your head, and you start to reminisce, and you start
Do you
to
guys
judge by those standards.
do you guys think that is because the success under one manager makes you think like that? The difference between Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United, that Chelsea have had success under multiple managers. It didn't matter who managed. Ancelotti won, Mourinho won, Conte won, Di Matteo won. It didn't matter. It was about the club. Alex, Man United fans, the ones that we talk to today, I'm not talking about the ones that lived through the 60s, right? Because they spent 20 odd years without trophies. The ones that we talk to now, they've only seen the success under one manager. So they think that is how football works. Dynasties. That is how football works. And do you think that is the problem with Man United? They still think, I think Goldbridge said it the other day. He said, we will never see Alex Furgson again. That will never happen again for Man United fans that think we're going to build dynasty again.
The issue, yeah.
And that is the problem. Arsenal, Wenger. You guys had the most for the new generation that is now. I'm not talking. There are people that saw the other before Wenger. They think, oh, we're gonna get Arteta's gonna be our new Wenger. It might not happen. You might get Arteta and then he moves on and they get another manager, win a trophy here and there. That is how football works. That's Inter, Juventus, every Conte, Allegri, Ancelotti before that. I think Man United fans have this problem is that they think we are that big club and we deserve to be there. We're entitled to win because we won under Furgson.
But that's the thing. They're still so tied to their past, though. Alex Ferguson still is a major voice at the club, which he shouldn't be. When Wenger left Arsenal, had nothing to do with anything that happened after it. Alex Ferguson is still, apparently, a big voice in who the next manager is going to be. They've had 6 managers since Alex Ferguson left. Yeah, now. Now,
I thought he left.
I saw a thing the other day about who Alex Ferguson's first choice would be for the next Man United manager. So he picked Moyes, and they've had 6 managers since then, and none of them have worked. But he's still, that's a problem that he's still a big voice because the game isn't what the game was when he was a manager. All through the media, you've got various generations from 98 through to kind of 2010 of ex-United players, whether it's Ferdinand or Neville or Scholes or Keane, whoever, who are constantly banging on and on. Whereas, just from an Arsenal perspective, we don't really have that. None of our invincibles really do you see on TV. Henry is the only one that does any sort of punditry. And to be honest, he's not a massive Arsenal fan when he's doing his punditry. He was talking the other night about Emery, how we should have stuck by Emery. So, yeah, we don't really have that. We don't have to kind of live in the past of either manager or players. Whereas, yeah, for United, it's constant. And I think that holds them back. It stops them really changing because if especially the ex-players that are just think it was all about mentality. Whenever you listen to them on the overlap, it's they just wanted to win it more. That was all it was. Literally all it was. They just wanted to win it more, and Ferguson wanted to win it more, and they fought each other in the training ground. It just doesn't work like that anymore. But they're stuck in the past.
Yeah, they are. I don't think there's any fix for Man United, to be honest, at the current moment, unless they go and get someone from the ilk of Antonio Conte or someone like a Thomas Tuchel to fix it now.
Frank.
No, I now have the belief of that is my belief. I have a belief that if you get a Thomas Frank, an Amorim, a De Zerbi, it might not be fixed. It might look good. It's not. They need someone that did what Inter did. What Chelsea did with what Jurgen Klopp did. They need a very, very big personality at that club. A personality that will take from everyone else.
Yes, but they need the personality and they need a sense of security. Everyone knows the stigma around Thomas Tuchel. He gives you 3 years. You get 2 really good ones and it goes to shit in the 3rd one. Very much of a Mourinho ilk. That's the Tuchel way. I think what United need is to find... It sounds simple, but the requirements are quite big. You need a manager who's going to play a style of play that United fans can get behind, because whether they like to admit it or not, they want to play. They want to watch nice football at Old Trafford. They don't want to watch the deep defensive counter-attacking football. They want to be on the front foot, putting teams under pressure. They also need a manager who understands the press and can manage the press better than what Erik ten Hag has done, where Erik ten Hag just sits there and goes on about trophies and is way too stupid to the press. They need someone who knows the press inside out and can play them at their own game. And they need a manager who is going to take no shit and is going to stamp his authority. Everyone we praised Ten Hag for in the first year, arguably, before he lost his way. If they can find that manager who doesn't lose that confidence, they'll be fine.
In terms of those ex-players, the biggest thing I think the new manager needs, because if they bring in a relatively young, so far unproven project manager, and the project doesn't start well, or the project goes through some bumpy patches, the ex-players pile in. That's the issue. They need big personality manager who has won things, who will, basically turn around to those ex-players and say, fuck off, I don't care about your opinion. The second, when it started really badly for United, and Ten Hag took that interview with Neville and Carragher, thought that was the worst thing. Because it was like he was sitting down and getting a telling off by the ex-players. And that for me showed that he wasn't a big enough personality to stand up to it. You want someone who's going to say, couldn't give a bollocks what Gary Neville's got to say about it. Like, his opinion is irrelevant. He's a terrible manager. He was a player 20 years ago. Don't care. That's the kind of manager. But again, how many managers are left on the market that are serial winners that have got that sort of personality? Not many.
I'm not sure. Guys, it's over 500 people here. Let's get the likes to 300. Hit that like button, people. Come on now. Hit that like button. Tom, what are we talking about next? Chelsea, of course. I have to speak about Chelsea.
I was just going off the title that I see. I winged most of that intro.
The same title, but
next up on the title is Saliba the best! ! So whatever that means.
Leave it at that, I think.
All I know is Rudiger said that he wants Real Madrid to sign Saliba, which why wouldn't you?
We can ask the chat, people in the chat, what are Chelsea or Arsenal or Man City? Problem.
He was asked to name the top 3 centre backs in the world at the moment. He said Saliba 1, Van Dijk 2. To be honest, I actually think the more interesting part of that was that he said Gabriel 3, which I think is.
Well, he's not going to say himself, is he?
No, but he could have said
because he isn't.
Romero or
Rudiger's the third best centre back in the world.
You
can argue between 1 and 2, but I think Rudiger's comfortably third.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not putting Gabriel above Rudiger.
Why?
I'm not. Because Rudiger's the best defender.
This is the new thing. This is the new notion of people now. Because of the history of Gabriel and all the moments he had before, you're doing what sometimes people accuse me.
Rudiger was no.
Can you allow your guests to talk? Can you allow your guests to land?
No, because your whole point is your whole point is I'm judging Gabriel.
Why am I even here?
Because you're the only guy with the StreamYard. Your whole point is
that's the only way. That's the only reason.
Gabriel was a bozo in the past, and I was someone who judged him like that. Rudiger was also a bozo in the past, so I'm
He's still a bozo now.
No. I think Rudiger's still the best defender all round. I think Gabriel's more of a set piece threat. If you value that really highly, I'll give you that. But I think as a 1v1 defender, and as someone who I'd have in my back line, I still put Rudiger above Gabriel for now.
There's a lot of Chelsea in the chat, so we have to speak about Chelsea. We have to speak about Chelsea. We have to.
But what? They won their UCL game yesterday.
Their UCL Gent is better than the team that Spurs played 100%. I still can't pronounce the name of the team that Spurs played yesterday.
Ferencváros.
They're my Turkish team. Big up.
They are Hungarian, actually.
Oh, they're not my Turkish team then.
Oh my.
They're actually Hungarian.
Konyaspor. No, okay, Konyaspor. They're my Turkish team. Are they Turkish? Konyaspor.
Yeah, they're Turkish. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Doesn't really sound the same as Ferencváros, but
maybe Ferencváros is my Hungarian team then first.
Milan Baros, yes, as Sean said. Listen, with Chelsea though, the depth. Chelsea made 11 changes
quiet
yesterday,
now.
guys. Chelsea made
Yeah.
11 changes yesterday. If Lavia was not injured yesterday, he would have played instead of Caicedo yesterday. Chelsea literally have two competent
No,
teams.
he's not in the squad.
But he's not in the squad. But I mean that my point about this is that Chelsea can make 11 changes and still play the same exact brand of football and be competent on the pitch. Which
Against
is
Ghent.
there is
It is
no.
that way.
It doesn't matter against anybody. By the way, Ghent is better than a team that Nobbins played in the Champions League. With all due respect, they played. Ghent looked all right yesterday. They created.
They
some
actually
chances.
were better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they look.
I was actually
Ghent
quite
don't
impressed.
look
I
bad.
mean,
Chelsea's
Big up,
attack
Ghent.
is very good. Here comes
we are
That's
saying
De
all
Bruyne's
this.
ex
Here
team.
comes
Big up.
Tom with the slagging of Chelsea. Go ahead.
No, I'm just we're saying all this about the better than these teams that Tottenham and Arsenal and City played. They are in the Conference League for a reason. If they were better,
No, because
if they were better,
Pep
they would
shat
be
the
in
bed
the
against Man United. That is the only reason they are in the Conference League. Because
because
Pep
what?
shat the bed against
No,
Eric Ten
Ghent.
Hag in the
There's a reason
final.
Ghent.
Ghent
I'm
are
on
in the
about
Conference
Ghent.
League.
Oh,
We're not
Ghent.
Ghent.
Oh, Ghent. I was talking about Chelsea though.
There's a reason they're there as well.
It's true as well. Yeah, it's true as well.
They finished 5th in the Belgian league last year. They're not better than Slavia Prague. They're not. But whether you like it or not, they're not. There's a reason that they're one of the better sides in the Conference League. I'll give that. But they're not better than teams that are in higher competitions. Because if they were better than them, they would be in the higher competitions. I mean, Cercle Bruges are in the Europa League. Who is Cercle Bruges?
Sounds Belgian.
Someone said yesterday they're the Pez team of Club Bruges.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I think Chelsea. Look, you can credit Chelsea for the way they're currently playing. You can, you can praise
in
their
fact, no,
attack.
I lied. You played Ghent, didn't you? Gent yesterday.
Yeah, Ghent.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Not
finished
Ghent.
7th actually.
That's the
I
Bruyne's ex
I
team.
I read
think
I
they
read
finished
How
Ghent.
have they got Conference League if they finished
So,
seventh?
are you ready for a full analysis
must
of how the
have- do they
Belgian
win
league
the
works?
The
The
first play Champions League, second play Europa League, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
No.
Play,
No. So what happens? This is so stupid. The Belgian league plays 30 games to start the season. After 30 games, it is then broken up into 3 separate groups.
Oh, I've seen this before. Yeah,
The
yeah,
top
I have
6
seen
is
this
the
before.
playoff championship group. The middle 6 are the playoff ECL group. And the bottom 4 are the playoff relegation group. If you finish in the middle 6, if you finish top of that middle 6, you get a Conference League spot. But if you finish bottom of the playoff championship group, you don't get any European football. So if you're about to finish 6th in Belgium, you are better off finishing 7th and then just beating everyone below you.
What's your point?
Would
then?
that
I
work
wanna-
without the
I wanna
playoffs?
land-
Would that be better for
land-
the Prem?
Then, so you think Chelsea only won because Gent is so bad?
No, I never said that. Chelsea plays
Okay,
well.
Land your point then. Make your statement. You put all
My
of this out.
point,
all this
my
information
point
for the
is, my point
Yeah.
is, you've got to temper reactions. They didn't
No,
play
okay.
a Champions League team yesterday, and albeit it's still impressive the way they played and the result they got. But if they were playing a Champions League quality team, I would talk about it. I don't want to downplay what City done against a Champions League team who've been in the Champions League like 8 times out the last 10. I don't want to downplay what Tottenham done, even though they struggled a fair bit, against a team that have been in the Europa League for like the past 5 years. For a team that finished 7th in the Belgian league and got Conference League based on how fucking flawed that entire league setup is. Like, it's generally the most twisted thing I think I've ever seen.
So you aren't
Yeah.
impressed by Chelsea at all. That's the take. You aren't impressed that they played Conference League, put in a second team.
But no,
out
but
there.
Mo, there can be a line where you can say,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, they've done well, but let's just,
Well
Put
done.
a
Let's
bit of
balance it
context
out,
on
though.
who they beat.
Let's not go all the way. Let's say it was a good win. Nice to see some rotation. Well done, Neto, for getting his first goal. It was Ghent. So let's just calm. The only, I'll be honest, bar the goals, the only thing I know is that Johnson's son got an assist. That's the level of that Ghent team. I think this is what I'm saying. You need to temper expectations. I don't know if Chelsea have got at the weekend, but I don't think it's Forest have been a good side in the Premier League this year.
Yeah, that'll be
if
a
they,
good test.
If they
Do you
come
know where
through this
Gent
game,
is in the
They're
league
right,
now?
they're probably sitting a low
Do you know
block.
where Gent is in the league, Tom? Now you know where Gent is in the league.
I
Probably,
don't know. No,
probably bloody top of it.
Third,
They are
they're
third. Do you know
Oh,
where
big up.
Bologna is in Serie A?
Serie
You
A
are-
and the Belgian league are not
Serie
comparable.
you are not
B.
trying to compare the fucking Belgian league
Oh, he is.
with fucking Serie
No,
A.
no.
Are you
9.5.
saying? Are you
you know
saying
where-
that Genk is on the same level as Inter Milan?
No, you're not. You're not listening to me. The point is, what happened last season is different than where the teams are this season. The Bologna you played is not the same Bologna that came fourth last season, Tom.
I agree.
That Bologna got torn apart. Gent might be stronger because when I watched the game, I didn't go off the result. Gent looked okay. They didn't look like horrific.
They gave us a better test than Wolves.
But doesn't
Yes.
but Mo, your assumption is that Ghent looked okay because Ghent are good, not Ghent looked okay because maybe Chelsea aren't as good as you think they are.
Do you
Did
think
Chelsea
that?
make
Do you
Ghent
think, okay,
look?
do you think that? I want to
I
have
don't-
your take.
I haven't got a clue. I didn't watch that game.
Oh, okay.
I haven't got a clue. I'm
No,
not sitting,
okay,
I'm not sitting down
my
and watching
take- you want
conference league
my
football
take?
on Thursday evening.
Okay, if people want my take, right? Chelsea's second team will beat Manchester United's first team.
You're saying that like it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
No, but hold on. Manchester United first team is worse or better than Ghent, you think?
The manager's not better.
No,
Sorry,
United,
did you
United
just
have
say
a
is
better
Manchester
team
United's
again.
team better than Ghent?
With the coaching that they have now.
Yes, they are.
I believe
That's
if
not-
Chelsea's second team with Nkunku, with Neto, right? With Shrewsbury Hall, if Lavia's there instead of Caicedo, I think they would win against Man United.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
they would, especially
I
with the
think
way
in the first
Maresca
team.
Maresca seems to have been able to convey his message across to at least 22 players to all be able to understand how to play exactly the same way. Because it doesn't matter where the rotation is at the moment, we're scoring goals. We're still making defensive mistakes as we did last night. Probably the reason we conceded. The same against Brighton. But they're like individual errors. As a unit, we're okay defensively. I think it's sloppy individual errors that I think can be coached out of a player, or you realize the player's not good enough and you
And
replace
then you
him with
get someone else. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So actually, I'm really impressed with what Maresca's done. And I do believe if we were to play our B team in the Premier League, we'd probably be able to beat the bottom 10 quite comfortably with that side. I mean, that side alone is worth probably £1 billion. Maybe. No, I think
That's
actually
the-
last night's starting lineup was 400. So the squad is probably worth £1 billion. Although
I
I
mean,
did see a stat. Someone said that on purchase value, the whole of the Conference League is 1.5 billion and Chelsea's assembled squad is 1.6.
Yeah.
So
The Chelsea
35
squad,
teams.
the Chelsea squad is worth more than the entire rest of the competition
Yeah.
squads combined. So
Yeah.
if they're turning up and beating teams, you know,
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
The 13. They
it's
cost
to be
1 million.
expected. Yeah.
I mean, I've just had a look at the rating apps. Their goalkeeper got a 3.8, and from what I can tell, he didn't make any mistakes leading to a goal.
A couple went underneath him or were very close to him. I
You know,
don't think he was
Chelsea
as bad as
could have
Diogo Costa
could
though.
have
for
scored
Porto.
7
Oh,
goals.
I'm gutted we went off United because I can talk for hours about how shit Diogo Costa is. He's the most overrated goalkeeper on this
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
planet.
Chill,
He
don't
came out
he's one of
waxing
them
miracle
players.
as well for United.
He's one of
I don't
them
know if it was
players
before or after.
who
He
everyone will
wants
sit
to
there.
move, bro. He wants to move.
Yeah, he wants
the
the United
money.
move.
Oh yeah, it's a good
By the
move.
sound of it.
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure.
wants
I'm
the
sure clubs
money.
looking at him now will go, "Oh yeah, I want a goalkeeper who can't defend his near post." Every single time, he's one of them players, and this has been a topic all week because of the Champions League games. I don't watch much of Porto Sporting. Anytime anyone, it was Chelsea for a while. It's been United at bits and points. They go, "Oh, Diogo Costa, he's an amazing goalkeeper." Whenever I watch him, he is
Yes.
utterly garbage. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know what
makes
everyone
simple
sees.
mistakes. He makes simple mistakes.
We've scored about 25 goals against him, and we've only played him like 5 times. He's a horrendous goalkeeper. Oh, the only good thing I've ever seen that goalkeeper do is save penalties against Serbia.
And play with his feet. Ederson.
He's great. He's great with the ball. He is great with the ball at his feet,
Yeah.
but you need to make saves as
But
well.
this is we know whose fault is this. It's like when the goalkeeper can play with the feet. We know whose fault is it. We all
No,
know.
but that's disingenuous
We
Pep, because
all
Pep
know.
wants his goalkeepers to save shots.
Yeah.
Diogo Costa
Pep-
doesn't
By
save
the way,
shots.
Pep lived with Victor Valdez for a very long time.
But then, do you know the most insane stat about
Do you
Diogo
know how
Costa?
bad? You remember how bad Victor Valdez was as a goalkeeper, as an
No,
actual
I actually think Victor Valdez's concentrations level should be studied. He was exceptional at
decent.
remaining concentrated. Like they dominated the ball probably more so than
Valdez was one of
City
the
did at
worst
times that
goalkeepers.
past
You know-
As
you know-
Barcelona fans.
You know the mad stat about Diogo Costa though is that he has prevented more, like the amount of goals he's conceded compared to the amount of XG they conceded is the best in the whole of Europe in the last year. So on paper, he makes like better saves than any other goalkeeper, and yet you watch him and you're like, how?
How are you like this? How is
Yeah.
your
I
hand
feel
have
like
a hole in
he'll
it?
go with his
Twice
speed
in
more
one
often than
game.
not.
Your
Yeah,
hand
unless-
has
unless-
the hole twice.
There's
Yeah.
like a list of these players: Diogo Costa, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Pair of them ranted and raved about some amazing goals.
Donnarumma.
Whenever I've
I
watched
don't
them,
know
I've
what
never seen it.
people see in Donnarumma. You
I
watch the guy.
never understood that one. Never understood it.
Not great with his feet.
Upper Meccano's another one. Never seen it with him. Delict, never seen it with him. Ousmane Dembele. Oh my god. I get told he's one of the best wings in the world. That man doesn't have any power in his kicks. Lautaro Martinez, he scores 25 goals in the Serie A, yet whenever I watch him in the Champions League, or in
Have some shame. Have some shame. Have some shame.
Wow, kicking the host stuff,
That's mad.
unbelievable.
I'm telling you that World Cup he was horrendous. Champions League last year, he's the reason he got knocked out because he blazed his penalty over the bar.
I don't like Lautaro anyway.
This is what I mean. There's these list of players who play for these top clubs in Italy or Spain or Germany.
Lautaro scored 20 plus goals in like 3 consecutive seasons, bro.
Exactly.
I don't like him, bro.
In Serie
You
A.
don't, and Tom, you don't
What do
see
you
them
mean in Serie A?
week
No,
in, week
no
out
other
as well.
no other player can do it.
Harry Kane scored 40 odd in the Bundesliga, and yet whenever you put him in a game that has more weight than Holston Kiel, he shits the bed. He couldn't handle Pau Torres and Esri Conte.
We didn't buy you to score against Darmstadt. That's it.
Like Holston Kiel, he can get a hat trick.
After the Villa game, they put
Champions
the
League or
headline.
Leverkusen, he can't do it. Like this is my point. There's these players who play for these top European clubs all around the world who are raved about and told they're this, that, and the other. And yet, when you watch them in the Champions League, they are utterly garbage. When you watch them on international level, they're utterly garbage. And do you know what the one thing that holds all of them together is?
For example,
Chill,
it's very good for Liverpool, and then he plays
The
for
one thing-
England. plays
The
for
one
England,
thing that
looks
holds them all
horrendous.
together, Trent's got 3 man of the matches in a row for England, calm down. The one thing that holds them all together is United would buy them all because that is United's transfer strategy. It's ex-Ajax or these
Or
should be
big
good, but
names.
I've never seen it. Players before.
You know,
Honestly,
100%.
Delict's the prime example. I never.
No,
seen
I like
in the
Delict.
game.
I don't co-sign on this. I like Delict. I think he's not a bad defender.
I haven't seen enough of him at United.
He got
yet.
bullied
I
by
have seen-
Almironian for one of those goals.
I
yesterday,
have.
didn't
He did. But I might have to tell you something. No defender there's handful of defender or less than handful that can defend that much in a game individually. They are left on islands. The positioning of the rest of the team is horrendous. Put any defender like this.
I think part of that's down to Delict though. Because
No,
I don't know
no.
if I don't know if you were able to watch it because it's on England, but on Monday Night Football, Carragher broke it down. Delict's position.
Why would I listen to Carragher? It's one of the worst ever centre backs I've seen.
Fi-
Why would I
he-
listen to
He finished high. He
Carragher?
finished
what?
higher. He finished higher than
Carragher.
Ronaldo. He finished higher
Carragher.
than-
I listen to Jamie Carragher talk about how defenders should defend.
He won a Champions League and he finished higher than Ronaldo in the Ballon
If you
d'Or.
wanna- Oh my god! You really think Carragher was one of the good defenders?
He was
He
good.
was
yeah.
a good
He
defender.
was.
Carragher was
Good.
a good
As
defender.
Jamie
an out and
Carragher
out-
was a good
Yeah,
defender.
do you know what, Mo? As an out and out
Oh my
defender with his task to just defend, Cara weren't that bad.
He wasn't John Terry, but he was
Sammy
good.
Hippier was better than Jamie Carragher.
Sammy Hippier was a
I
very good
don't-
defender.
Yeah, Hippie
Again,
was
I don't
quality.
argue. That doesn't mean Carragher was
Martin
bad.
Skirtle was
No,
better.
no,
No.
no, he wasn't.
Jamie
No, no,
Carragher
way.
Yeah,
is
too
No,
far.
he
He
wasn't.
went too far too
Cara
quickly.
could play across the whole back
No.
four, and he played in midfield.
Skirtle is
I'm not having
better.
that.
No, he's
Jimmy
bloody
Carragher was an
not.
average defender.
Nah,
Nah,
you know,
he was
Karen
good.
never pulled a muscle or anything either. So he was able
Carragher.
to play
He never
all the
moved
time.
quick
He's
enough
not
to
that
do it.
good. He
Apart
can't
from, like, a leg
stretch. He
break.
can't. He's not that good. That's why you didn't
Chill
pull him
on
out.
Carragher.
What are we on? I'm not saying Carragher was like Ferdinand level. He wasn't. He wasn't
He was no
Ferdinand
Silva
level.
and
Eddie.
Distan, but
But-
yeah.
Carragher is
But-
not even John Smalling level. Just got
John
he's
Smalling.
Who's John Smalling?
Who's
Sorry,
John
what's the
Smalling for
Chris-
one?
Chris-
But he's
Chris
better than
Smalling.
Chris Smalling.
No, he's better than Chris Smalling.
Chris Jones.
This is the thing. In the,
Phil Smalling.
you don't make like 700 appearances for Liverpool if you're shit. I've seen
Well,
shit players. They don't play that much.
One of your worst eras ever. It's okay.
One of my
It
worst
happened.
years
What?
ever when we won like
No.
7 trophies.
Yeah.
When is that? You won.
They
You
could-
won the Champions League once, and
They
you never
competed for the
challenged for the
title
league.
with
So-
United.
So
One
FA
or
Cup,
twice.
League Cup.
You guys think
He's-
that Jimmy Carragher? Anyway,
They
I'm
won
not gonna argue.
a
We're not gonna
treble.
turn into this show.
we won.
into Jimmy Carragher.
We won a treble when he was at right back. Then
Was
we
that
won
the
an-
Europa League treble?
the Europa League, the League Cup, and the FA Cup. The
When it was the
treble.
UEFA Cup, yeah. When no
Oh,
one
it was
won
the
Ballon
UEFA, yeah.
d'Or.
You
Yeah,
like to say a treble.
and to rub it in, we won it on Golden Goal as well, which is now no longer. a rule.
Well, let's ask the chat.
Um,
Yes or no, guys? Is Carragher a good defender?
Well, not in 2024, but
Not now,
yeah.
it's not. No.
Carragher was a good defender.
I
was
don't know. I
good.
reckon he'd still be better than Badashile now.
Look, he's not going to get in like the top 10 greatest
He'll
Premier League
go back
centre
to
backs
Chelsea.
ever,
He'll
but
go
he's
back to
going to be in
Chelsea
like
because-
top
so we can move on.
25, probably. There or thereabouts.
You can argue Carragher's in the top 20 defenders minimum in the Premier
What,
League.
in the Premier League era?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd probably put him in that.
Yeah,
Nah,
25-ish,
I
probably.
reckon you're. I reckon if you actually started breaking it down, I don't think you would. But
No, do you reckon?
He
That's
played
just the way Mo's
508
talking about him. It's like
games.
he's not even making top 50. That's the way Mo's talking about him.
yeah. Skirtle's not in the top 100, so to
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
Carragher's better than Skirtle is mental.
Crazy.
I can
But
definitely
Chelsea,
name 20 defenders better than him, but fine.
yeah, we don't need to do that today. But Chelsea are good, and I just think they need bigger tests. So far, respectfully, their biggest test was probably what Brighton, and Brighton bent over and spread their cheeks for them. So give them a
City.
proper game.
City
But
was
you
best.
lost to City, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Well, City's
Yeah.
the
But
level.
also, I don't
everyone
even
wants
think
to
that was a fair test because it was the first
achieve,
game of the season.
Mhm.
So
Honestly,
if you
you're
played
playing
City
differently then as
now-
well, to be fair.
Yeah, I
If you
agree,
played
we
us
were.
now, you
We were.
probably
Yeah.
you might beat us.
Yeah, I
No,
think if
Forest
you
will be a
played
good
City-
test because when we played Forest at the end of last season, they gave us a good challenge, and it wasn't until the last sort of 10 minutes that game got turned on its head when Reece James came on. And I also think that they'll sit in probably a lower block than we've seen most teams play in, and that's where we've struggled last season. I just want to see how that looks under Maresca.
Yeah, it's
Liverpool away, Panathinaikos away, and then Newcastle at home will tell us a lot
Oh,
about Chelsea.
Panathinaikos. Now they are the Greek
Do
team.
not include Panathinaikos in that list.
Respect
Fucking hell.
Panathinaikos. Respect.
Some-
Also,
someone ju-
also
someone
by,
just
by
said-
the way, Jamie Carragher has more clean sheets in the Premier League than Rio Ferdinand.
This
He's
guy.
better than Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, but Rio sacrificed.
Men lie,
that by
women
joining
lie,
QPR.
numbers don't lie.
True,
Yeah.
true, true.
Yeah,
It's
and,
all
and,
right.
Car- and Carragher played with Jay Spearin for like 2 years. It swings in roundabouts. No,
Okay.
is the Newcastle game at home or away? 'Cause I can't remember.
Home.
At home. See, if it was if it was Anfield away and St James's Park away back to back, I think that would have been something.
I
where you learn
actually
a lot
think
about
we have
Chelsea.
Newcastle twice in a week. I think we've got them in the League Cup as well.
Yeah, but
do you?
at home and then away.
Yeah,
Home
and
on a
then away,
Sunday and then away on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Like,
And then after,
Play away for them,
And then
I
after
need
that,
to
you
temper
got the,
expectations.
You got the brilliant team of Manchester United.
I was going to say, after Newcastle at United, wait, it's United. Fuck's
yeah,
sake.
but you know what?
It's United and it's
I'm
full
expecting for that United game. I'm expecting new manager bounce, whoever it is. I've just got a feeling it won't be Ten Hag.
Mo, you stopped too early. You forgot the biggest test. After United, they've got FC Noah.
Whoa.
FC Noah. Yeah, that is.
FC
but
Noah
the
from
problem
the
is that
With
the
or
Armenian.
without
Hold
injury.
on. Before we go on, hold on. Rory, where does FC Noah play? Which league? I don't know. I'm number one.
in
I
the Old
actually don't know.
Testament.
I can
think-
tell- I can tell you.
I'm going to
I-
answer
I-
this.
I-
I don't know.
I believe I want to say Cyprus.
No, they're not.
Okay, you may have had a player,
Lithuania.
Rory. No, you might have
Lithuania.
had a player
That
who
is
played for you.
very-
You might have had a player that played for you from this country. It's quite obscure though.
Armenia.
Armenia.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Armenia.
So
Oh my God,
funny.
And the
you're
sixth-
playing
the sixth in the
playing a
league
team
in
from the
Armenia.
Armenian league.
We are playing a
Sick.
team from Kazakhstan as well.
No, Kazakhstan is good in
Very nice.
football. Armenia is not.
Oh, really?
Kazakhstan are not that bad in
Oh,
football.
I don't know a
I
Kazakhstani
couldn't name
player,
you a
but I
player
know an
from
Armenian,
Kazakhstan.
like a couple of Armenian players.
Every time someone goes to Kazakhstan, they struggle for some reason because of the distance. or
What, in the
something.
league?
Yeah, it's a 21-hour
and-
round. It's a 21-hour round trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Damn.
that's
just
fine. They're
fucking
just jet lagged by the
I
time
wouldn't
they
bother
get there.
going. Just forfeit the game at that point. Not worth it.
Yeah. But look, someone in the chat, by the way, said that Chelsea haven't played a newly promoted side yet, and therefore they've had, I don't like what difference that makes to get. Realistically, the highest team in the table that Chelsea beaten was Brighton in 9th. The only other one they've even played was Man City, and they lost. They've then played Bournemouth in 11th, West Ham in 14th, Palace in 18th, which they drew, Wolves in 20th. So, like,
That
It has
that
been-
Palace result's bad as well because they lost to Everton, and Everton are shit.
yeah, Palace have only got 3 points in total and one came against Chelsea. But that's the point. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Chelsea can't have a good season, won't have a good season or anything like that. I'm just saying there are quite a few decent teams, and once Chelsea start playing those, if they continue getting the results, then we can start having bigger conversations.
We'll see. We'll see about this.
I actually believe the biggest task Maresca's going to have is eventually there are going to be 1 or 2 players from this sort of second string 11 who are going to get restless, and the knocks are only getting louder every time Nkunku scores a goal and Madueke's playing without scoring. The knock is only getting louder for Nkunku, a fully fledged French international, to be playing in Conference League and Carabao Cup games. He's not going to be happy, and I think
Yeah, I
that'll
agree.
be his biggest challenge. Is
Yeah.
how a manager without European, like, he's not had to manage European games and fixture lists yet, and it's like that's a new learning curve for him as a manager. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. Right now, it looks okay, but what happens when form comes into the equation, injuries? Because we won't this scoring form, if it continues all season, it'd be fantastic. But I'm sure at some points it won't be as the football won't be as comfortable as it looks right now.
It's,
No,
it's
I believe,
also
no, I believe you're going to get 90 goals plus this season.
Like, maybe we do, because it looks like the way, if we carry on, Mo, yeah, but we just don't know yet. Like, Tottenham were probably on course to score a fantastic amount of goals last year, and then people sussed on to how they were playing and seriously limited that. So you just don't know what the horizon holds. Like, we're only 5-6 Prem games in now.
But you don't have a way to play that people can just. Chelsea don't have one way of playing. It looks
Well,
like
we were seriously limited against low blocks last season, and I don't think we haven't seen enough of a test yet with a team in a low block. Like, I couldn't believe the way Brighton set up. They played into our hands ridiculously. Ghent at times yesterday made it difficult for us, and we did play through it. But Ghent again, if you're playing against a Premier League side who are probably a little bit more regimented than them, I'd expect a slightly tougher challenge. But we do have the quality.
we'll see how it goes.
I've been impressed. I think Maresca's biggest positive is that he's showing that when mistakes are made or there's a slight issue with the team, it gets addressed very quickly. That it's rectified by the time the next game comes around, which we didn't see with Poch.
Guys, there's 750 people here, and we aren't even on 300 likes. Like the video, turn on the notification bell. We appreciate your support. Hit that like button, people, for the show. Please get us to 300 likes. It helps the algorithms of YouTube. Hit that like button. It's going to be my only show today, basically. Arsenal, though, or City. City's
So I
insane.
said that they played a team that were even better than Ghent. Why are we talking about them?
Big up
No.
Vladimir Weiss.
So City's
Yeah, that was a bit of a
midfield,
throw
Nobbins,
back.
has
Junior and
a little-
senior.
City's midfield has a problem that needs to be resolved. Right? You have easy fixtures coming up. Foden can play there in the midfield, needs to be in the midfield. Who's going to be your midfield? Your midfield looks like wide open. Again, it's Newcastle. City's midfield look wide open sometimes because Rodri's not there. How can he solve this problem? And can you go out the season without someone like Rodri in the middle?
What's so funny is I thought our midfield against Bratislava was better in terms of, like, the players that we picked rather than the Newcastle one. So maybe that'll be something that we do. Maybe is this Mateus Nunes FC arc redemption storyline world? Probably not. But against Bratislava we played nominally Gundo, Nunes, and Foden. With like Lewis also coming into the midfield as well. against Newcastle, what was it? It was Lewis, Gundo,
Kovacic.
and
Re- 3 at the back, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually preferred that Champions League midfield. It's the big question mark on, and probably why what that won't work is because Nunes probably isn't good enough on the ball. No, he isn't. To be honest, he just hasn't really developed that side of his game yet. If he did, it would probably be ideal because I think he covers for Gundogan's weaknesses really well. I think the what we learned against Newcastle, I think we discussed it last week, is that Gundo must be the deeper player. No. Chill. He's got to be the deeper player.
His legs are gone. Are you serious? You think
What?
Gundogan can fend for himself in the Premier League?
That's not what I said. I said he needs to play deeper.
Okay. So who's going to defend then?
Well, and this is why Nunes being on the pitch was so good, because he has got legs. What I would personally do is I would partner Gundo with like Stones when we have the ball. So you've got that more defensive-minded player. Again, ideally it would be Gundo Nunes, but it's probably not going to work. So, but I do still think that against the majority of teams, you could run Gundo, even Nunes, Foden, and that would probably work, to be honest, against the majority of teams in the league. More conservative, you might want like a Bernardo in there or a Kova in there or something like that.
I think your problem is defensively, not anything else.
By defensively, do you mean off ball or in transition?
Off the ball. You defensively, your positioning is wide open in the middle.
What's that based on? I don't know if I agree with that. On the Newcastle game, I agree, but that's because I didn't believe in that midfield.
Brentford game, same.
Brentford game.
Why? Okay. Here is the thing about football. You play a high line sometimes at City, right? And the problem is the high line can't happen with someone picking easy passes behind your line.
So I can tell you why.
And that is Rodri's job, is to prevent that pass from happening all the time behind your back line.
So I can tell you why we were so bad against Brentford. It was because of the way that Pep set out to press Brentford, and Frank, who's a brilliant tactician, adapted brilliantly. And actually, it was our wide players who were most at fault there. And then in the second half, that was corrected, and Brentford weren't really able to get at us in the wide areas as much. So I don't know if that's the best example for that. I would agree that in terms of counterattacks, City are frail, but that's even with Rodri in the team, to be honest. City will always be that team who are susceptible to a counterattack because no team is perfect and every single team has some sort of frailty, whether offensively or defensively. Off ball, I think the City have been okay for the majority of the season. As I say, outside of that Brentford's first half with those issues. Again, the Newcastle first half I've touched and I wasn't a fan of that midfield. Outside of that, though, I think City are fine. We've for the most part this season, we've changed our off-ball structure as well. We were normally 4-4-2. We've gone 4-1-4-1. I think for me, that gives us a bit more security in the midfield because it means that there's just physically more bodies there rather than committing two strikers to a press. So I actually don't know if that is an issue, to be fair, yet. It might be an issue in the future, but I don't think it's been revealed as one yet. Obviously, City are going to be weaker without Rodri, but that's a given.
Think about City, if you look at them, it doesn't matter if they're weak or bad. There is like 16 teams in the league that cannot beat City, even with a weaker team. City. That is
sure.
The thing.
Teams that City should be beating reasonably comfortably, yes.
If you look at the league, playing Wolves away, no matter what the circumstances are, should not be just a write-off for Wolves. But it is. We all know that City will beat Wolves away. It will be a very big surprise if we
lost last season.
They lost last season, and Wolves are better than their position.
I will be very amazed.
I would be as well, of course.
Like, it's a 5% chance at max that Wolves
Wolves are better than their league position. They gave us a good game. Gary O'Neill is a decent... He's an all right manager. They're just on some really bad... They're on like some horrendous form carrying over from last season, I think.
They can't defend.
Yeah, they lack Andre and Joao Gomez together. On the front foot, it's really good defensively. Once you get them behind them, they're not very good at tracking you running behind, so you're able to get at the centre-backs quite easily. And I don't know, because they're trying to do something with Lamina to push him higher up. I think Lamina needs to sit in between them almost as like a security option to make sure that they stay switched on. Wolves aren't a bad team. Wolves have players that can cause a lot of top teams problems. City should beat them, but I do think if you're looking at the makeup of the sides, with the pace that Hwang has, if he starts and that is, and the quality that I think Mateus Cunha has as a striker, I think that it's something that can't be underestimated in terms of, causing City problems, especially without Rodri. Because I do agree that Rodri reading of the game in terms of cutting out the passes was massively important.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I know Mateus Nunes has legs and he can cover ground decently, but I don't
On
necessarily
ball, he's
see
not
that.
good enough. yet.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see it
I don't think
working
he's
out
a good
for
enough
City.
defensive midfielder at all.
They
I'm
don't
not-
have a
it's-
defensive midfielder, do they?
It's not about playing
juggling
defensive
square pegs and
midfield.
round holes.
It's just about.
And Gundogan looks like a shell of himself, to be honest.
I think Fulham can cause you issues tomorrow.
But you're basing that off the Newcastle game, aren't you? Like he's
What,
played.
Fulham. Do they play Fulham tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow's
Yeah.
against Fulham.
Fulham is a real problem because they're the team that are set up to just be a fucking
I think if
bastards to play
City
for us.
drop points against Fulham, it's crisis mode.
I'll
It's
tell you what.
genuinely crisis mode.
Oh my!
Smith Rowe in the 10 and Adama Traore making runs.
Raul Jimenez up front. I'll
Yeah.
speak on it again and again. Raul Jimenez is one of the best strikers in the league for hold up.
Annoying.
He's so good at hold up. He's the only striker who I've seen cause Saliba and Van Dijk problems because he uses his body so well.
David Luiz took his striking ability, to be honest.
No, but he doesn't. I agree. He's not the same striker he was before the head injury. But in terms of as a link-up guy, I don't think there's many better in the league. I'm really big on Jimenez and that quality, and the fact that Adama is now starting regularly on the right, and he's got an attacking midfielder behind him in Smith Rowe, who is actually very good at arriving in the box and creating and putting the chances that are created in the back of the net. With Iwobi out on the left, I think that's a really good front four dynamic for Fulham. They're a good side for them. They'll cause a lot of teams a shot. I mean, I said United won't finish ahead of them this season. I still stand by that. I think Fulham are a really, really good side. And Adama's always had a thing for City. He doesn't like City for whatever reason.
Bruce
I don't
Nelson
think.
can
To
do
be
us a
fair,
favour.
I don't think he's played well against us in 4 years. In fairness, he did
don't-
Mendy
I
that
don't
one
care.
time, but outside of that, he's been very stinky ever since.
It was both games that year, and I remember it because we won the league that year. Big
Yeah,
up to Adama.
and that was the year where he did us. But as I say, it hasn't really happened, and I've been scarred ever since, expecting him to do something, but then he never does.
Let me do a couple of super chats before moving on to Arsenal because I don't want to stay for long. Question for Dan: opinion on Maresca's quotes after the game yesterday, asking for physical DM. You think that means Caicedo is an 8 for him?
No, I just think he believes that the game is going that way, that a more physical 6 is going to be required in the next coming years in football. I think you can see that with the way Arsenal have Rice in potentially that role sometimes. I'd say even Thomas Partey's more physical than Caicedo. City obviously have Rodri. I believe that's probably an area that he feels is going to need a little bit more physicality over the next few years. I actually thought he spoke incredibly well in his press conference.
Hold on, can I say something before I thought football is going the other way. Everyone now is talking about the 6 need to be a ball playing 6, like a Zubamendi type, and instead of having a physical 6. I thought, am I wrong? Rory,
Well, I thought Don said that you had the best 2 holding midfielders in the Premier
No,
League.
Don said he had the best midfield in the league.
Yeah.
I think they're very. I actually think they're very good. I just actually, when I look at Chelsea's side, I think, and you look at the teams that are at the top of the Premier League, there's a massive difference in physicality.
Why is that wild?
Why is what wild?
Okay,
I think the point is
with Rodri's injured now, don't we think Caicedo is the best DM in the league at the current moment?
He's not better than Rice.
He's not better than Rice either.
No,
Rice haven't played one game.
I would
as a
say he's in the
DM,
conversation for probably one of the top
I don't
5
care that Rice hasn't
DM.
played as a DM this season. Rice is still a better DM than Caicedo.
See, you really so you don't think it's a conversation, like some people can prefer Caicedo as a DM and some people can prefer Rice?
No,
you think Rice is just better?
Rice is better.
He's a lot better.
You can have the conversation.
Yes,
you can always have the conversation about
I think
whether
Gravenberch has had a really
Hold
good
on.
start to the Premier.
Really,
League.
you guys don't
I can
think
say
that
Kovacic is better if I
Caicedo?
wanted.
You guys don't think that Caicedo is close to Rice in terms of like tackles and stuff like this, and he's maybe a better ball playing DM.
I think Rice
I'm
is the
putting
better
it. I'm
footballer.
putting it as
I don't think
okay.
he's better
Hold
than
on.
Rice.
You think Rice is a better footballer? Can you define that, Nobbins, again?
He's
What do you
better at
mean?
football. He's better at playing the football.
Oh, okay. Because people say footballer means technical ability. Now that's
No,
what
I
people-
don't. That's bullshit.
Ah.
He's better at the football.
He's
me.
just a better midfielder overall
Yes.
than Caicedo.
In my humble
In
opinion.
what
yes.
aspect of the game? I'm sorry. Can you just tell me?
Defensively.
Defensively, he's better than Caicedo because tackling is better,
Yes.
and
he's
on
better.
on the ball, he's better.
Uh,
Passing wise, reading of the game in terms of spraying passes and stuff like that. You think?
no, I think you could say Caicedo is probably better at that facet of the game.
So why did you make the decision that Rice is better then?
Because
you give a conclusion.
because I think Rice's attributes that he excels in are so far the other way. They're so far away from what Caicedo is for me that he just eclipses him. In
You
my
think
opinion.
Declan Rice is way far from Caicedo as in the defensive aspect of the game than Caicedo is better than him on the ball?
I think that's a fair assessment. Yes.
It's your assessment. Anybody
No,
else?
I feel like you're you're being reactionary to the first few games of this season again. At the end of last season, if anyone had tried putting Caicedo and Rice in the same category, they'd have been laughed out of the room.
What do you
The
think,
first
Dan?
few games of this season, where Rice, to be honest, has been tired and not even been playing as a six, it's reactionary.
I think Caicedo's best position. I think if you're going to break down the DMs in the Premier League, Caicedo's best spot at the minute is fourth. I think it goes Rodri, Declan Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, Caicedo, Onana, Gravenberch. But them three below the bottom three, you can put in any way you want, and I can hear your argument. I think he doesn't touch top three yet. I think he's not better at Rodri at anything. He is much worse defensively than Declan Rice, but better on the ball. The gap there isn't big enough to put him ahead of Rice. And he's not as good as Bruno G on the ball, but he's better defensively than Bruno G. But again, it's the same argument that Bruno G's quality on the ball is bigger in terms of the gap than Caicedo's quality defensively. It's them three afterwards where I can hear your arguments, and that's not to say Caicedo can't jump up into that next phase. 100% he could if he keeps this form up this season. Yes, I can definitely hear the argument that he goes ahead of Bruno Guimaraes, but I struggle to put him ahead of Declan Rice and Rodri. He's certainly never going ahead of Rodri. I'll put it that way. He's never going to surpass Rodri, and I'm going to struggle this season to put him ahead of Declan Rice because it's not only about what he does as an individual, it's about what he does for the rest of the team. I think a lot of Declan Rice's quality when he plays at the six is freeing up other players. I don't think Arsenal can play as expansively as they want to when it's Partey in the six compared to Rice.
Am I allowed to present some stats?
No.
No stats
I don't
here.
stats for a DM.
This
Jesus
channel
Christ.
don't do stats.
Yeah,
The
I
thing
wanna
is,
hear it.
the thing is, the main stats
No,
you'll
no.
show will be the amount of defending that Caicedo does,
Yeah.
which correlates to the amount of defending that Chelsea do, and it's not comparable.
It is actually comparable.
It's like when people compare centre backs by the number of
Yeah.
tackles they
Ben
make.
Mee's
No,
better
but
than
I'm
Saliba
not
because he
gonna
does
do
more
that though.
tackles.
But I'm not gonna do this
Yeah.
though because the difference between them is not that high per 90. So the amount of defending last season Caicedo did is similar to Declan Rice.
But we all know that Caicedo was nowhere near Rice last season. Nowhere near him last season.
I believe Caicedo was Chelsea's one of the best players at Chelsea last season.
Didn't
No.
you say that right? Didn't you, Mo? I might be misremembering, but didn't you say that Rice should have won Player of the Year last season? Am I being stupid? Wasn't that your opinion?
If Arsenal won the Premier
Right. So
League,
you think he was the second best player in the league?
I think Rice was amazing as at DM last
Right. So he's the
season.
second best player. So he was nowhere near
But doesn't
Caicedo.
mean but that doesn't mean that I think so me saying Rice is great doesn't mean that I think Caicedo's rubbish.
I didn't
at
say
all.
that.
No
I didn't
one
say
said
that.
that, though.
But there is no way that I'm asking Mo in May 2024, for your top 10. You are not saying Caicedo. There's no way you were saying
My
that.
I'm putting a
Oh, I
statement.
don't know.
out.
What towards the end of the season, I think he was breaking into top 10. He finished strongly. He didn't.
I mean,
start well.
if we're
Can I
taking the
put my
last two
statement
seasons in,
out? Can
if
I
we're
put
taking
my
the last 2 seasons in, can I not put McAllister in the argument because he played
Can I
DM for
put
most
my
of Liverpool last
statement
season?
out? Can I put my statement out? And then
Yes.
this is my statement, okay?
No.
If I am choosing for my club at the current moment a DM, I would absolutely take a lot of time to choose between Caicedo and Rice. I wouldn't make up my mind within a second. And let me give you an example. Does that make sense? Like if I'm making a choice between Colwell and Gabriel or Saliba, it wouldn't take me a second to choose. I would choose Gabriel and Saliba. I am not saying that Caicedo is better than Declan Rice or not, but I'm saying there will be a conversation about it because I believe Caicedo is a very talented DM. And when we see this season, when Chelsea are playing well, he is shining. I'm not saying that Declan Rice is bad. I'm saying that some of the statements that Tom put out in the beginning of this conversation, that it's not even close, I believe that's not my opinion. I believe it is close. You can choose either or, and I will be happy with it. That is my statement here. And I know that you all disagree with it. You all think that Declan Rice is levels ahead of Caicedo.
I just think it's reactionary because if in May you would have been very clear that Rice was a long way ahead of Caicedo. I don't understand how effectively, like 6 games later, that could have swung so massively to the point where you think they're really close.
I can answer that very simple. It is not about the 6 games. It's about the end of last season when Caicedo stepped up massively. Measuring the whole season, Declan Rice was one of the most consistent players in the league. So I couldn't put Caicedo with him then because Declan Rice has won a lot of man of the match at the 6. But when Caicedo started in the last 10, 15 games playing well, my sample size is not only the 6 games. It is the last 15, 16 games plus the 6 game. That's an size for me to analyze what is going on.
And his season at Brighton.
Makes sense. I hope that makes sense, Rory. Why it's not 6 games only. At the end of last season, the statement would not be here because we're comparing 38 games with Declan Rice.
His season at Brighton also, by the way, gave him enough credit to be worth 100 million in Chelsea and Liverpool's eyes.
He was a good player.
And I think he was 20.
I'm not putting him ahead
I think
of
that
Rice.
season he was 21 at Brighton, maybe even 20. He could have been even younger. The thing that impresses me most with him is that he's admitted himself he struggled when he first came, and mentally he had a lot of issues that he had a psychologist. Since then, he's done a lot of work, and I see a maturity in him now that I didn't see when he first arrived. And every time I watch him, I try and remember and remind myself that this is a kid. He's literally only just old enough to not play under 21 football anymore. Until last season, he was still eligible for under 21 football. So I think we judge it when he's 28, when he's 25, when he's Rodri's age, when he's Declan Rice's age, and there we go. We can sort of see what player he turns out to be. But that's the thing I think I've been a little bit too harsh on at times with this Chelsea side is they're all kids, and it's difficult to remember that when you see them playing. But this is only really some of them their second full season in top flight football. So I think we have to be a little bit more patient with that. But he's been really good for at least 20 games now, I'd say, Caicedo, even with a couple of mistakes in there. I just feel actually his job is always a little bit harder when Enzo Fernandez occupies him as a midfield partner, actually.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with that. But that's future tense. We're not talking about what Caicedo might become, unless I've got the argument or the discussion wrong. I thought Mo was saying how he's like close to him now. I don't disagree that. Pardon?
Now, yes, you're right. Yeah. You're very right in putting the statement out like this.
I don't disagree that in 2 or 3 years, Caicedo might be infinitely better than Declan Rice, because I don't know what's going to happen. Rice might get an ACL and a career-ending injury, or Rice might go off a cliff from now till 3 years in the future. But all I can do is base it off, like the last, 3 years or whatever. And in my eyes, there are, as it stands, in that sample size of 3 years, which is enough time, that there are, in my view, levels between them. Maybe at the end of next season.
3 years. What do you mean 3 years? It's only 1 year of Rice.
The gap has been closed in the last 4 months.
Hold on, what do you
5 months.
mean?
Because
the gap
Rice was
has been
also
closed.
very good at West Ham.
Brighton was better than Declan Rice at West Ham.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that.
You guys don't think that Caicedo as a DM at Brighton was one of the best midfielders at that year There is a reason
So
why.
so
he
was Declan
100
Rice
million.
though.
Yeah, but Rice was good at West Ham as well.
They also
But
had
Rice-
Rice,
not
Rice
like
captain West Ham to a fucking European trophy.
Not like Caicedo. Not
No,
like
but
Caicedo.
they had completely different roles in completely different midfields
Okay,
that can play
okay.
completely
So why
different
is
styles.
Nobbins? Why is okay for Nobbins?
Because
say
Rice
that
has
the
done it for
standard-
England for years, probably.
But Caicedo's not English.
to
It's not
speak
his
for
fault. It's not his fault. He's not English. It's not
I didn't
his
say it was.
fault.
I didn't say it was, but I'm saying that as a catalogue of evidence, Nobbins will have watched England for a prolonged period of time and seen Declan Rice do it at that level as well. I don't want to speak for Nobbins here. Sorry.
I'm not
Yeah.
Italian. for
Yeah,
everybody.
Rory, get my name out your
Declan Rice for me. Declan Rice for me
Fine.
has been one of the best
I'm
DMs
Egyptian.
in the Premier League since about 2020.
Oh my god, the revisionism is crazy.
It's not, though.
Right, okay.
It's not.
What? So let's go back to the COVID year, Mo. Which DMs were better in the COVID year?
Calvin
Rodri?
Phillips.
And no
was
one
better
takes the
than Declan
COVID
Rice.
year seriously, mate.
No,
Pulisic
'cause I-
looked like a good
okay,
player.
just
Bruno
because we
Fernandes
won the
looked like
bloody
a good
title.
player.
So we'll go.
Come on,
We'll go.
Liverpool managed
we'll
to
go
win
to
a
the
Prem
year
in the
after.
COVID year, Tom. That's how
Fuck off. That wasn't the COVID year. That
Nah,
wasn't
we won the COVID year. That's our title.
Let's go to the next year then.
Respect.
2021.
What the season?
What-
sorry,
what
the season
DM?
wasn't postponed though in
COVID
1920.
year is 21-22.
It was,
we,
but that-
we could have not
Sorry,
played any of the games that year.
2021 is 2021 is COVID year.
That's the actual COVID year, yeah.
1920, COVID started March 16th in the world.
No,
America got in
December 2019.
Yeah, no. But the lock,
It's called,
what is it called?
it was called COVID-19. Just to
because
let
it
you know.
started in China, in America, for example, and I believe in England, flights stopped into February. March 16th, when America went on lockdown, Italy in February, England, I believe in February. Liverpool won the league by then. Liverpool were miles ahead of everyone by then. That is not the COVID year.
Liverpool could have not turned up after COVID, forfeited every game, and still
won
won
the
the league.
league. Yes.
2021 is the year where every single game, apart from the last
We're
one,
not going
was
into that conversation.
behind
Forget
closed
COVID
doors.
year. Forget COVID.
But my point was that in that time frame, that was when I thought Declan Rice was pushing himself into the category of the top defensive midfielders in the league. I think Rodri was better than him. I think Fabinho was better than him. And when he was fit, Kante was better than him. The year after that, Fabinho started to decline. Kante was barely fit. Rice still performed, improved, so he jumped up at least ahead of Kante. Year after that, Fabinho fell off a cliff massively, so Rice goes ahead of him. I've got minimum 3 seasons where Declan Rice has been the second best defensive midfielder in the league, in my opinion. I cannot swing that off 20 games. I can't change my mind off 20 games. Where in that same time frame, Declan Rice has still also been performing really well. It's not like Declan Rice has been shit for the last 20 games. Declan Rice has been massively important. Hence why you see it when he can't play, Arsenal look worse. When he plays, they look better. Declan Rice has been in that conversation for years now. For years. So I don't understand what we're trying to... What history we're trying to rewrite here. Caicedo's good. Us saying Declan Rice is better than him doesn't mean we're saying Caicedo's crap. I think Bruno Gomes is better. If you want to put Caicedo ahead of Bruno G, whilst I'll disagree, I won't think that's the most horrendous take in the world. But to say that we're putting him in the conversation as the best DM in the league at the minute, yeah, he's had a good start to the season. Really good start. Ryan Gravenberch had a really good start to the season. I'm not putting Ryan Gravenberch in these conversations because it's 6 fucking games.
Yeah, Gravenberch has been better than
manage it.
Caicedo this season. Gravenberch, if you were doing that, you just say Gravenberch.
If I wanted to be shameless, I'd be putting McAllister in this conversation because he played DM for us last year and was one of the best midfielders in the league.
I think you can say Caicedo's in better form, but I think it's far too soon to say he's a better player.
Can I ask you?
That's my
so you guys
conclusion on
don't.
that.
Okay. Do you guys, if you watch Caicedo and you watch Declan Rice, which one do you think can go further? The DM. Forget injuries, Nobbins, because that is
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. So
Caicedo's more of an 8
everyone on
than
the
a 6.
panel agree. I just want to know. Everyone on the panel agree that Declan Rice in the future look like the better DM than Caicedo.
But I mean, Declan Rice.
I'm asking your opinion, Rory. I'm not
No. All I'm saying is in terms of
now.
going. All I'm saying is in terms of going further, there's not much further Declan Rice can go. Last season, he was, in your own words, arguably one of, if not the best player in the league. And if we'd got one more point that season, you just said he was the best. So you're talking about the best player in the league. If we'd won the title in a title-winning team, he's doing it at the Champions League. He's doing it for England. Like, there's not much further that Declan Rice can go at this point. So unless Caicedo's also going to get to the point where he is at that level or beyond it, and then if he's beyond it, now we're talking about Caicedo being Rodri level of CDM, then no, I don't think that Caicedo can really surpass Rice.
My prediction is Rice will continue to be better, but that's a prediction. Anything can happen.
I think people are now discrediting a lot of what Declan Rice does. He's an absolute freak defensively. The amount of ground he covers, the amount of recoveries that he makes. Again, not saying Caicedo doesn't make a lot of recoveries, but Declan Rice is a fucking freak at it. He uses his body so well. People are downplaying him because he's not this ultimate passer. He's not Rodri. Yes, there's no one else like fucking Rodri on the planet. Declan Rice isn't a Rodri level passer. He's not this guy who can pick apart defenses. But my God, does he cover ground well? My God, does he pick up runners well? My God, does he intercept well? He wins his tackles. He wins his aerial duels. He does everything you'd want from a defensive midfielder, and he elevates the level of other people around him.
Can I put a question out? Right? Can I put a question out for everyone
No.
before we end the show?
No.
I didn't get
If
so far with it.
Rodri leaves City next season, okay, and Pep gets Caicedo, he can make Caicedo reach Rodri's level or close, right? We don't know. But he won't be able to get Declan Rice to play the same way that Rodri plays.
Pep tried to buy fucking Rodri. Sorry, Rice.
Right.
Pep tried to buy Rice before Arsenal did.
Not to replace Rodri, you know that.
I don't
Oh, he
think
wants
either
him
of
to
them
play
could
with him.
do it, though.
Okay,
I don't
so hold
think
on.
that's a fair question.
I can you? So you don't think what I'm saying is correct?
I
So,
think
I don't think either.
if it came down to it, and Pep lost.
Did you
Rodri,
guys hear what I'm saying? You understand? I believe
because yours is
Caicedo's
flawed.
It's flawed.
Because
Why is it flawed then? Why is it
A
flawed?
lot. No, but come back a bit. A lot of what Rodri does is down to his physical size. Whether you like it or not, Rodri being as tall as he is helps him in certain situations.
Same
And
with
Pep
Rice.
uses
I
that.
believe Caicedo ball retention is so underrated. People think he's weak. He is very strong on the ball. Very strong on the ball.
My prediction would be that based on all I can base it off is the current City midfield. If like you could wave if like Pep could wave a magic wand and it's like I can have one of Rice or Caicedo to add to this midfield, I personally think he would pick Rice. I think that he would think it's easier for me to cover for Rice's deficiencies than it would be to cover for Caicedo's, in my view.
So just to clarify your view, Mo, so your belief then, based on your question, is that Caicedo is of the same level of talent as Rodri. He just needs Pep to get it out of him. That's your
Close.
belief.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
I believe Declan Rice has different attributes, which is my opinion. Is Declan Rice carrying of the ball, the speed when he carries the ball as well, the physical attributes that he has. Tackling, he's good. Caicedo's tackling is underrated as well. Declan Rice is physically bigger than Caicedo, but I believe that Caicedo's passing and game vision on the pitch is higher than Rice, which is what Rodri has. Rodri is not only good defensively, Rodri is actually not great defensively, but his reading of the game, which can be taught by Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is a genius in this. But the 5 to 10 yard passing as well between the lines and picking angles, I believe Caicedo is better than Declan Rice.
But Mo, if you're gonna put a DM into City when they have De Bruyne, Gundogan, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Rico Lewis, all these players who are fantastic at line breaking passes, you don't need to add another one. You could argue that what they need is a perfect fucking security piece behind them, who's going to sweep up whenever the line breaking passes don't go through, lay it back off to them, and they go again. Rodri is actually just... we can't compare people to Rodri because Rodri is the best in both worlds. He is
the best
really
in what
good
world?
He's the best of both worlds. He's really good on the ball and he's really good defensively.
That's what Pep wants.
Declan Rice has a flaw on the ball. Caicedo has a flaw off the ball, in my opinion.
No, he doesn't, but fine. He's not that bad. You make it like he's awful off the ball.
And I said he has a flaw. That doesn't mean he's awful.
What is his flaw? Sorry, Tom. Off the ball.
I think in the duels sometimes he's a little bit weak. I think sometimes in duels he can get bodied a little bit easily. And I feel like when you go up against physical midfielders...
I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen that in a long time.
Me too, Dan. And I
Like,
don't
I've
understand
been
where
really impressed with Caicedo in the duels. That's why I'm a little bit sort of when Maresca said that about needing a more physical six, he must believe that there is some issue with Caicedo playing as a six, but I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know if he just means he wants someone who has more of a physical presence on the game, maybe like a Rice or a.
But by the way, the
Rodri,
criticism
not
of
just a
Rice on
goal.
the ball even has come out of this one thing, seemingly from England over the summer, where people just decided England's entire problem was that Rice can't pass the ball forwards. And there's a huge thing got made out of Rice and passing the ball forwards. Even though he does pass the ball forwards, he can't. Yes, he is not an eye of the needle threading through, but that's not even the way we play anyway. In terms of ball retention, passing accuracy, he's absolutely fantastic. He keeps us ticking over, which is what his job at the base of that midfield is. So I don't even feel like this whole like Rice isn't good on the ball thing.
He's not good on the ball.
Where it
He
comes
doesn't have the vision like a Rodri or, in my opinion, or Caicedo or something like that. Let me do the super chat so we can get out of this. This conversation is never good for another day. International break is there to actually rank players. That is.
Oh God.
This is what we do. Chelsea's a little horse right now. Needs milk to learn how to jump, but next season, little horse will be a big horse. That's when we race Jose. A lot of Chelsea fans are saying next season they will challenge for the title.
Nah,
I want to
that
see
horse, that horse will be a Tesco lasagna before they fight for the title.
I didn't know
wouldn't go
horses
that
drank
far.
milk either.
That's how
Actually,
you
but
heard it. A lot of people don't believe that. Subs is saying
the one thing I'll say is, obviously in a
Right.
small amount of time, Maresca's had 3 months compared to Arteta at 5 years and Pep at maybe 8, 9. So
I
I
would
can
also
see
just
why
like to
some
say, Dan,
fans are getting
sorry to interject. I would also just like to say that around a year and a half ago, I said that Chelsea's players are too good to fail long term. So if they succeed, I'm clean. Because I said
There's
Chelsea would be the
obvious
good team
talent.
long
It
term.
was always
So
the question was
I'm like-
always whether or not
I'm cleaning my hands to that right now. I
Clip
always
this.
said Chelsea would do well. Just
Listen.
there's
saying.
obvious talent in a lot of the players. It was always down to the manager last season. I think that the majority of those games were lost, to be honest with you.
yeah. Hypocrisy test. Who is better, Kai Havertz or Nico? Quick answer, everyone. Rory,
Kai Havertz.
Tom.
Come back
You
to me
don't
at
have
the
to
end.
do this, Tom. You don't have to do this.
Come back to me at the end.
Oh my God, Dan.
Do you mean Nico as in Jackson?
Yes,
Kai Havertz.
Nobbins.
Yeah, on form, I'll take Nico, but overall, Kai.
Okay, my answer is Nico Jackson is better than Kai Havertz. Oh,
Mo, you've
Tom,
just become a little.
I go
you've
to
just
Kai.
become a
I
little
give it to Kai.
Chelsea fanboy. You've become a
Chelsea
little Chelsea
fanboy when I want Arsenal to win the league, and I literally
Yeah.
titled it that Saliba's the best.
I don't know what's
defender.
I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know who's got to you, Mo, but you've turned into
Not
Dom,
true.
criminal. Honestly,
I can't. I give.
By the
edge
way,
to Havertz.
by the way, Rory, I always maintain that Nico Jackson is not a bad player. Is better player.
I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player.
I think he's better than Kai Havertz. I don't like Kai Havertz.
Okay.
You don't even know him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tom, you didn't answer.
Kai Havertz. I'd
All
give the edge
right.
to Kai
Hey,
Havertz.
subs, you got your answer. Caicedo can't cover big spaces isolated like Rice. Declan Rice is better in that aspect. For example, I believe Declan Rice can cover more spaces than Caicedo. Declan Rice can be a lone DM defensively in transition, and he has proven it last season. So I agree with this. NH is saying, are none of you guys thinking about Gundogan as a 6?
I said
literally
6. Yes, and he played against Slavia Bratislava as a 6. That will be our best solution long term. Yes, 100%.
Answered this already, HN. Appreciate you so much for the super chat. Dal Square is saying, Mo Sotsum Bissouma was better than Rice flip-flop. So Bissouma's football ability is very good, but I genuinely conceded to say that Spursy thing is real.
No, but
I
at
conceded
some
that.
point, at some point,
I-
did you say Bissouma's better than Rice?
Yes,
Started last season.
Started
After
last
10
season.
games last season, he said Basuma was better than Rice.
yes.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Mo being too reactionary, and it
There needs to
catches
be
him
a
outside.
distinction
By the way, Rory,
between.
I actually say that I'm a reactionary person in
There
terms
needs
of
to be a
that's fine.
distinction between on form
That
and
is fine.
better
On-
player.
I believe that Bissouma has a lot of talent
Like
as a DM.
Michu in 2013 was not a better player than Aguero. He had a better season than him that
wasn't.
year,
He was
but
a
he wasn't
better
a better player. That's the difference.
But nobody watched Micho and thought he's better. Aguero did it in the freaking La Liga for years with Atletico as a teenager.
But based on this conversation, if that season happens now, then people would be saying that because they go, well, he's playing better right now.
No,
so
but
he-
I always believe that Bissouma is a very talented footballer. The problem is no one can crack his code and get him to be consistent and focused on the pitch.
So then he can't be better though, because that's part of the game.
But at that time, Bissouma was playing to that level, Tom. So I thought that Ange Postecoglou.
8 games.
Yeah, but you have to understand,
Gotta shoot
at that
guys.
point, that was it.
Fine, I'm in.
Anyway, Abdi has saying Arsenal want Caicedo first before Rice. Is that true?
Well, I think we wanted both of them.
Okay.
So we did want Caicedo at the time, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate everyone that joined us. We still have 700 people here, and we are not even on 400 likes. All the guys' channels in the description.
I'm sorry, I can't. Bissouma.
Yeah,
That's
so-
horrendous. That's that might be the worst take you've had.
Ever.
Bissouma, Up there.
But the thing is, we could very easily get to the end of this season, and what Mo's saying today about Caicedo is the exact like age is just the way that the Bissouma thing did.
It might be. By the way,
So
it might be. And but it might be. By the way,
He was
see,
so
Rory,
bad
I'm
as
admitting
praise the year
it
before.
might be. It might be. Maresca can turn into this guy that suddenly, if everything falls over each other, domino effect, the team starts playing badly. It can be. But I'm telling you, do I have for Caicedo? Is there any evidence that this can happen? No. No evidence. At least Bissouma, I'll give you this. There was evidence that the guy gets out of his head and act crazy, which is he already did it this season a couple of times. That's why he's dropped. At that time, I saw he turned it around. To be honest, I thought it was Antonio Conte thing. It turned out to be it's not true. It's actually in the player's head. He cannot concentrate. He cannot focus on the football, and he has these weird moments. I have to.
Jenny, that might be the worst take I've heard from you. That's utterly horrendous. Bissouma, man.
Anyway, listen, people, we're gonna finish the show because we're gonna go to Saeed. But this show is gonna take us to Football Terrace. Staffy and Dan Lawless, lots of rants from Staffy. Hit that like button, guys, before you go. We can get to 400 likes before you leave. Subscribe to all these guys. Dan's channel is in the description. Rory today at 6:30 going live. Nobbins and Tom as well. Subscribe to all these guys. And Joe, who's part of the show, just couldn't make it today. So we're not going to forget about him. Joe's here. His channel is in the description. Hit that like button before you go. We'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.